Democrats are also hitting you on this comment that you made about Milwaukee, the host city for the RNC, for the convention, and they seem to believe that you said that it was a horrible city. Can you just nip us in the bud and clarify what you meant?
Well, I think it was very clear what I meant. I said we're very concerned with crime.
So we all know by now that Donald Trump, in his disastrous appearance before House Republicans at the Capitol Hill Club in Washington, D.C., said that Milwaukee is a horrible city. Donald Trump started talking about his love of Hannibal Lecter. Donald Trump also made weird comments about potential romantic relationships with Nancy Pelosi based on some made-up conversation that didn't exist with Nancy Pelosi's daughter, and numerous other unhinged statements. So Fox had to go into overdrive, propaganda mode, attacking President Biden with clearly manipulated footage, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then Fox had to go into overdrive mode, call in all these MAGA Republicans, have all of their hosts say, this was all a hoax, this is rigged, none of that actually happened. Donald Trump never made those comments. And I just want to show you how pathetic it is. I mean, if you look at the chyron that Fox had up throughout the day after Donald Trump said that Milwaukee is a horrible city, Fox, which basically is an arm of the Trump campaign, not basically, I should say is, has on the chyron, Trump loves Milwaukee after he called it a horrible city. So then you have Sean Hannity called in MAGA Mike Johnson, who says he was sitting next to Donald Trump. And then MAGA Mike says he didn't hear Donald Trump say any of that. Donald Trump never even said anything about Milwaukee. Watch what MAGA Mike has to say. Play the clip.
Can we just settle one thing once and for all here? Did President Trump, has been attributed to him that he took a shot at Milwaukee? Did he do that?
No, I didn't hear it, and I was sitting right next to him. I introduced.
Well, that's interesting, MAGA Mike, because apparently you didn't read the other propaganda statement put out by the Trump campaign by their spokesperson, Stephen Chung, who says, wrong, total bullshit. He never said it like how it's been falsely characterized. He was talking about how terrible crime and voter fraud are in Milwaukee. That was Stephen Chung's response to the reporting that Donald Trump said how horrible Milwaukee is. And also you had multiple MAGA Republicans line up and run to all of the propaganda media and give very different version of the events. For example, MAGA Republican Wisconsin Representative Glenn Grothman said that what Trump was saying was that he was concerned about the election in Milwaukee and felt that we needed to do better in urban centers around the country. That's why he was saying it. Brian Steele said, I was in the room. Trump did not say this. There is no better place than Wisconsin. The official Trump spokesperson for the convention and the person running the GOP convention says, no, Trump was referencing the ongoing political game the city and county are playing with Pierre Marquette Park, despite concerns being raised months ago. The city still has not designated a First Amendment zone. And so those are the kinds of statements being put out by various MAGA Republicans. So then you have Jesse Waters say, Donald Trump saying that he loves Hannibal Lecter. And have you heard about the great Hannibal Lecter at this meeting with the House Republicans? Jesse Waters says, that's a hoax. Didn't happen. New hoax alert, he says. Here, play this clip. But I'm going to show you in a little bit what Donald Trump has said about Hannibal Lecter before, but play this clip.
To work, doing what they do best.
Apparently, the former president made reference to Hannibal Lecter and said, nice guy, quote, he even had a friend over for dinner. So we've seen Trump out on the campaign trail praising Hannibal Lecter. Apparently, he did it again this morning. Not sure we fully understand the context of that.
We weren't inside the room, but neither was CNN, and that's the point. So we did what journalists do. We went to our sources who were actually there. Did Trump really call a flesh-eating serial killer a nice guy? No. Trump was joking that if he said something about Hannibal Lecter, the fake news media would say he was praising him, and CNN took the bait.
Then Donald Trump, then Jesse Waters, I should say Donald Trump, Jesse Waters, Donald Trump spokesperson, Jesse Waters, then has MAGA Republican Anna Paulina Luna on, and she says, I'm there. I never heard him say Hannibal Lecter, despite the fact that we know he's talked about Hannibal Lecter before, and dozens of people have said that's what he said. But let's call on the shameless propagandist Anna Paulina Luna, who basically lies about everything, including her own identity and her own past and her own name. But Anna Paulina Luna, jump on Fox. Let's spread the propaganda. Play this clip.
He did not praise Hannibal Lecter.
No, much to CNN's despair, he did not. But he did joke about the fact that they were going to report fake news. And
Then you have Jesse Waters go on and say, oh, look, all the liberal media is attacking Donald Trump for talking about sharks and water pressure. This is how all Americans feel. This is totally normal, everybody. And that's how Fox tries to normalize this bizarre, abhorrent, strange, weirdo behavior. Watch what Jesse Waters says. Because again, they turned the propaganda up to like level 10 today. Here, play this clip. 10 of 10. Play this clip.
We told you Biden can't run on his record, so they're going to drag him across the finish line and replace him with Kamala after inauguration. But in order to do this, they have to distract you from how old, unfit, and incompetent he is. The way they do that is to slap those labels on Trump. You'll hear Trump say the most common sense things about Biden's failed policies. His wind turbines are killing whales. His open borders letting in mental patients. The shower pressure regulations make you have a bad hair day. This week, Trump said Democrats are going to start putting electric batteries, not just in cars, but in boats. And if you know anything about how heavy these batteries are, that boat's going down.
So there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards. Or here, do I get electrocuted if the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking? Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted?
You hear that and you laugh, but it makes sense. The media hears it and calls him senile.
And then they're not done yet. Then Jesse Waters claims that Trump calling Milwaukee a horrible city is another hoax. New hoax alert, they say, and it's been debunked. Here, play this clip.
We have a new hoax alert.
New hoax alert. New hoax alert. New hoax alert.
He said, as has gotten a lot of publicity, and we broke this, that he doesn't like Milwaukee. It's a horrible city, he says. The campaign has pushed back on that. Everybody comes out and says he didn't say it. Of course he said it. I mean, that is according to almost everybody in the room.
But everybody in the room says he didn't say it. As soon as the news broke, people inside of the room debunked it. A congressman says, I was in the meeting. President Trump never disparaged Milwaukee. Another one, I was in the room. President Trump did not say this. Another, Trump was specifically referring to the crime rate in Milwaukee.
So while all of that is going on, you then have Fox put out, or Rupert Murdoch's paper, rather, the New York Post, puts out this video of President Biden to try to act like President Biden was wandering off at the G7 summit in Italy. Here, watch this. And New York Post says, President Biden appeared to wander off at the G summit in Italy, with officials needing to pull him back to focus because they needed something to go after Biden with after what Donald Trump is actually doing and how Donald Trump is behaving. But if you want to actually take a look at the actual frame that the New York Post cuts out and manipulates, President Biden's looking at skydivers who just landed. Here, play this clip. because what they don't want to report on is the important news and what President Biden said in his speech following securing a 10-year, $50 billion plus security arrangement for Ukraine, and how the strength and power of the Biden administration and the sanctions imposed on Russia by the Treasury Department has resulted in a massive financial ramifications against Russia for their unlawful invasions. Here's what President Biden actually said, though. Play this clip.
2.5 years ago, Putin unleashed a brutal war in Ukraine. And it's been a horrifying ordeal for the Ukrainian people who are so brave and incredible. It's also been a test for the world. Would we stand with Ukraine? Would we stand for sovereignty, freedom, and against tyranny? The United States, the G7, and countries around the world have consistently answered the question by saying, yes, we will. We will say it again. Yes, again and again and again. We're going to stand with Ukraine. And thank you, and I now yield to my friend from Ukraine.
So Fox doesn't want you to actually see any of that at all. But let's you want to take a look at what Fox is putting on. Here's Fox and the Murdoch property. So here's what the New York Post is saying. Trump's horrible city comments on Milwaukee was about policy, says New York Congresswoman. Okay, well, MAGA Mike Johnson just said it didn't even happen. Okay. New York Post. Majority of Americans believe Trump's charges were more politically motivated than Hunter Biden's. That's Fox with their post. Biden reported in the New York Post. Biden repeatedly watched his dog attack Secret Service as staff wished each other safe shift, according to Docs. Then the other post that they made. Then Fox posts. Jesse Waters says, we've never seen the Republican Party this united under Trump. Okay, well, that would seem to contradict the actual data, which is that in all of these primaries, there's been a 20% vote against Donald Trump in closed Republican primaries. Then we have Fox writing, Trump predicts there is a 10% chance CNN will be fair to him at the first presidential debate. So just more whining. Oh, then they have this one. No juicing, Joe. A new bill would force the White House's, for Fox propaganda, a new bill would force the White House to notify Congress when President Biden takes drugs that could alter his alertness, judgment, or mood, because one of the conspiracies Fox is pushing is that Biden's going to kick Trump's ass if Trump even shows up at the debate because Biden's juiced up and he's on like steroids or something or on drugs. That's how he does better than Donald Trump at debates. Then they also have Fox says, House GOP moves to name U.S. coastal waters after Trump. You might as well have, be reading North Korean propaganda that the MAGA Republicans are doing that. But you see that they go into like the most culty overdrive mode. And, the result is you get brainwashed people like this who have shirts saying, I'm voting. I don't know she's brainwashed, but I mean, who would wear a shirt that says, I'm voting for the convicted felon? Or people showing up wearing diapers to Trump events and saying, real men wear diapers, diapers over Dems. Or people wearing shorts like this that say, F me great again. And again, they don't want to focus on things like surprising U.S. economy is powering a better global outlook. World Bank says Americans have more investment income than ever before. The fact that the stock market is at record highs, which like double what the stock market was under Donald Trump. The MAGA Republicans just, have their propaganda network that just pushes this crap over and over again. Oh yeah, by the way, I said that I would play the clip of Donald Trump saying Hannibal Lecter, so, okay, we're not to believe Donald Trump said Hannibal Lecter there, but he says it in Wildwood. Here, play this clip.
Silence of the Lambs. Has anyone ever seen the Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner. As this poor doctor walked by. I'm about to have a friend for dinner. But Hannibal Lecter, congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. We have people that are being released into our country that we don't want in our country.
And he says it in like a lot of his speeches. Like, here's what he says as well. Play the clip.
Why? Because that's a vicious thing. I said, that's Silence of the Lamb. You know what that is? Has anybody seen Silence of the Lambs? Hannibal Lecter. How great an actor was he? You know why I like him? Because he said on television, on one of the, I love Donald Trump, so I love him. I love him. I love him. He said that a long time ago, and once he said that, he was in my camp. I was in his camp. Yeah, I don't care if he was the worst actor. I'd say he was great to me.
Or when he's not praising Hannibal Lecter, he praises the late, great Al Capone, the mobster, murderous, despicable criminal. He says the late, great Al Capone. Here, play this clip.
I don't know. I hear different stories. Did anybody ever hear of the great Alphonse Capone? Al Capone, great head of the mafia, right? Mean Scarface. He got a scar that went from here to here, and he didn't mind at all. But he was a rough guy. Now, I heard he was indicted once. A couple of people told me a few times more. But I was indicted 4 times, and Al Capone, Alphonse. You know, if he had dinner with you and if he didn't like the way you smiled at him at dinner, he would kill you. You'd be dead. By the time you walked out of the nice restaurant, you would be dead. He got indicted once, I got indicted 4 times. Over bullshit, I got indicted. Bullshit.
Yeah, and it's the same guy who does this at his events. Play the clip.
And they're proud, they're clapping, they're going crazy. I can't do it, Mom, I can't. Boom.
So I just want to show you the anatomy of Fox propaganda. You see it for yourself, and there you go. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.